author talk and workshop on leadership as part of the Vachan Sankalp Maharashtracha, organized by the Literary Club NSS Unit of Bombay Teachers Training College. It is truly a pleasure to see all the bright and eager faces gathered here today, ready to embark on a journey of learning and learning. Leadership is not just about holding a position, it is about inspiring change, making decisions with confidence and leading with purpose. Today's session promises us to equip us with valuable insights into leadership, success and personal excellence. A warm welcome to our esteemed faculty members, mentors and dear students who have joined us today. We are certain that this session will leave a lasting impact on us. It is an absolute honor to welcome our distinguished guest, Ms. Payal Nanjiani, an internationally acclaimed leadership expert, executive coach and author. She is a guiding force in the field of leadership, development and has empowered countless individuals. Ma'am, we are privileged to have you here with us today and we really look forward for your wisdom and experience. I would now like to invite Professor Dr. Madhukar Kochar to present ma'am with a token of her appreciation. Before we proceed, it is important to formally introduce our guest and highlight her achievements. To do the honors, I would now like to invite Ms. Deborah Thomas to take the stage and share a few words about her.
Thank you, Ms. Sarma. I am thrilled to introduce our esteemed guest today, Ms. Payal Nanjiani, a globally acclaimed leadership expert and top executive coach. Ms. Payal is not only a New York award-winning author, but also has over 2 decades of experience. She has dedicated her career to advising and coaching senior leaders, CEOs, and government professionals across the globe. She is a transformative figure in the field of leadership development. Her unique approach has transformed the thinking and behavior of more than 1 million professionals, empowering them to peak performers in their fields. These statistics are accurate. As one of the world's most sought after executive coaches, she has made significant impacts in both corporate America and India. Madam, her expertise lies in her ability to help leaders to look beyond conventional industry practices, and she equips them with tools to identify hidden thinking mindsets and prepare for unforeseen challenges. This forward-thinking mindset positions her clients for unparalleled growth and success. In addition to her coaching practice, Ms. Nanjiani is the host and founder of the Payal Nanjiani Leadership Podcast. Can we have a round of applause? Which is ranked in the top 10% globally in the business category. Through this platform, she shares insights from some of the world's top industry leaders, further extending her influence in the leadership space. Ms. Nanjiani's contributions have not gone unnoticed. She has received numerous accolades, including being honored by the US media for redefining leadership and recognized by the Times Group as one of the most influential personalities in leadership coaching. Her books on leadership are celebrated for their practical guidance and have helped countless individuals to reach their next level of performance. As we prepare to hear from Ms. Nanjiani today, let us be inspired by her journey and insights into effective leadership. Please join me in welcoming ma'am with a round of applause. Thank you. We will now be viewing a video.
organizations globally to grow exponentially. She is Payal Nanjiani, a globally acclaimed Indian American leadership expert and author. Her books act as a catalyst, inspiring people to change the way they think about themselves and to be the best versions of themselves. She's been an advisor to some of the most successful leaders and companies in the world. With nearly 2 decades of industry experience, Payal is one of the most called upon speakers and executive coaches in the corporate world for anyone who wants the best results. Her keynotes and workshops show you the precise methods on how you can achieve success and get to the next level no matter what. Payal has been featured on global magazines, America's news channels and radio, redefining leadership. Her aim is to help the maximum number of people in the world experience success in their professional lives. Payal lives with the motto of success is within. She believes that success can be achieved with speed and serenity. Are you ready to achieve unstoppable success and become a world-class leader?
I would like to invite ma'am to formally take over the event.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm audible? Yes. Okay, but that was a good morning. And I'm sure none of you are going to remember me based on what you just saw about me. That comes with 29 years of doing what I'm doing. So here's how I want you to remember me and connect with me. My name is Payal and I am your good friend and mentor. Is that good to remember?
Yes.
We are friends? Okay, see, because I don't have slides or something to keep showing you and talk to you or do the lecture. I'm here to really make some good friends and to really share what I know in so many years. So will you talk to me? Will you participate with me?
Yes.
Yes? With the energy? See, I always like India. And I always believe that India carries that energy of growth. And whenever I am here, it makes me feel so fulfilled. Beautiful country, yeah, and a country which is really growing. And I'm so blessed to have been born here before I left from this country. So really nice and really privileged. Thank you for inviting me, your entire management team. Thanks for inviting me. So it's a real privilege to be here. I thought I'd take you through my journey first and then take you through the book. Good? Yes. Right? So let me be very honest. Now that you and I are more friends and everything, let me be very honest with you. Before I got to be known as the only woman from India to be in the field of writing books and being an executive coach in a completely white male-dominated industry, I was absolutely not even 0.5% of what I was. My books were not bestsellers. I was not known in the industry. Media was never behind me for interviews. Yeah? I was just living. I don't know if any of you know what it means to be just living. When you wake up in the morning, you don't know what you're doing with yourself. Right? You just wake up, you go to college. That was my life also. Just wake up, go to college, come back. I remember, and I think this is something I've written in the latest book. I remember, Mom used to always tell me that once you finish college, you should find somebody and you should get married if you don't mind, because the voice in the YouTube is not sure. So I don't know how many of you will relate to this, but I wake up in the morning, had to go to college, didn't know what I'm supposed to do. Somehow college was over. So a lot of my middle school and high school happened in the US before I came to India. And here I joined Jain College. And after college was done, I remember Mom telling me that, you need to get married now. Now what else do you want to do? Those were the years of 90s. And I didn't know what I'm supposed to do with myself either. Not sure how many of you are in that zone. But I was like, And there was a trend at that point of time, which was a trend of doing MBA. So everybody had to do MBA, right? So I also decided
decided to do MBA, not because I wanted to study more or I had any passion for studying, absolutely not. I just did it because everybody was doing it. Yeah? So you have fit in types. I want to just fit in with everybody. I said, fine, I'll do it. Somehow my dad always used to tell me, he used to have these things that you should dream big, you should do something with your life. So on one side, I'm hearing my dad telling me that you should do something with your life, you should really do something, you should become something. And on the other side, I'm having my mom telling me, it's, you should get married now, you should settle down, you should do things. And at all times, my mom would tell me, you need to take care, you need to take care of the house, you need to take care of the things, you need to know how to do these things. And whenever I would leave the house for college, my dad would tell me, all the best, take charge. So there was one side of me hearing, take charge, and the other side of me hearing, take care. In between of both of them, I didn't know what I'm supposed to do, so I just went with life, did my MBA. Every single time, my dad used to send me pictures of people who had achieved massively in their life. They had become CEOs of companies, they had become prime ministers and presidents of countries. At all times, he used to send me these pictures. That, I should read them, I should not know what I'm supposed to do with them, but somewhere, I think that seed that's got into me. So, here's a picture of me in the school. I just picked up a few pictures which I always do during the author talks. So here is a picture of me in the school. I don't know where I am, somewhere hidden behind there. School life was good. I don't have absolutely any pictures of me. This is again one of mine. But I have absolutely no pictures of my college. And that's the worst thing. So if that, we didn't have cell phones at that point of time. So there was nothing to capture. Everything was captured. To HR, I started doing human resources, started moving ahead in that, became the HR head, regional director, came to a point in corporate America where I just didn't know after that what to do. In between, had two girls. Older one is right now 23 years old. Both are in their own life. College and everything, so life still kept on going on. This is one of the pictures of Disney. These are both my girls when they were young, when they were small. What's the next picture like? Okay, my parents, to whom I'm always grateful for whatever I am today. Okay, you do the next one. Okay, let's do the next one. Okay. Now here's where the change came from. So 2007, I was completely done with whatever I had to do in corporate America. I was working, had reached to the top of my career in HR and everything, and still I was not satisfied with what I wanted to do. And one thing that happened in my life was everybody used to tell me that, people in the US are very fortunate because they can really be very successful. And I used to feel that people in the US are not successful. Where is the success? People are struggling in the companies, they are not getting through. In the colleges, they are studying whatever they have to, still not getting the jobs that they must get. So where is the success that we are talking about one country? And is success really dependent on a country? That if you're in an X country, you can be successful, and if you're in a Y country, you're just absolutely nothing. So what I did was, I started making content over leadership and success. And that content I started to teach I started to teach free of cost. 2 people, 3 people in the room. That's what my life was all about. In the year 2007, I decided to step out of corporate America and leave my job completely. And I'll give you a real life instance of what had happened after that. By 2007, I started doing these small coaching sessions with entrepreneurs. Nothing got to do with big things, nothing. In 2011, somebody referred to me be speaking at the stage of Atlanta. It was a leadership summit. And I can never forget it. It still gives me goosebumps when I talk. It's one of the chapters in the book. I took it up because it is a platform where every damn person wants to speak. So I took it up and I was very happy and I practiced. See, when you want to speak somewhere, don't you practice, right? So I began to practice. I practiced in front of the mirror. I don't know how many of you do this, that when you have to do a presentation, okay, you will give it your all. You will practice, you will go and stand in front of the mirror, you will see how you're looking, how your expressions are, everything. You will call a friend and you will say, am I okay? Fine, I'm speaking properly. I did every damn thing. Everything. And in those days, so I wrote down my speech, okay? In those days, I used to not talk how I'm just talking like this. I would learn. I would write every word of what I want to speak. So it was a 30-minute talk I had to give. So I wrote down every word. This is how I'm going to say. And then I kept on editing it. And this is not fine. Ye acha nahi hai. Wo acha nahi hai. This is not proper. I should add this. This should be the language. Ye types of every damn thing I must have done. I remember driving from my home in North Carolina to Atlanta. It's a 6-hour drive. And in that 6 hours, what do you think I was doing? Not listening to the radio, nothing. I was just memorizing. Ha, ye bolna hai, aisa bolna hai, bhulna nahi hai. Just have to keep saying. I have to keep saying. So I reached the venue. Remember parking my car. Went in, and we were supposed to go in the green room. So I went into the green room, and with me there were a lot of industry leaders. To name a few, there was Richard Branson, who was the keynote speaker at that time. Warren Buffett, who was following the keynote speaker at the inauguration. And then there were quite a few industry leaders. So I was like, oh, this is my best moment. You heard, right, that if you're surrounded by people who are successful, you start getting those vibes. I was like, that's it, this is my moment. What more could I ask? Leaving corporate America, 2011, you're on the stage of Atlanta. I was like, this is it. And I was building that confidence because looking at them, they were excellent. They were too confident. And I was like, yes, this is great. So I remember my name being called. And I was walking towards the stage and something inside of me suddenly changed. My palms became so sweaty. My heart was beating so loud that I could literally hear it. I don't know how many of you have been through that situation, like you practiced it so well, but if you stand here, you just lose it. You completely lose it. And so I looked at the audience and there were thousands of them at that day in that auditorium. And I didn't know what to do. So you know what I did? I went and stood behind the podium with only one thought, that because my height is short, I will not be visible. Podiums in the US are very high. And I was like, okay, I'll go and stand behind the podium so I will not be visible, knowing that my height is short. I removed that index card from my pocket, kept it in front of me, and just imagine every word is written in front of me. I only had to read it. I didn't even have the confidence to read it. I stuttered, I stammered, and those 30 minutes were like 30 hours for me. I just didn't know what I am saying, what I am doing, in spite of everything written in front of me. Somehow I concluded the speech, and I remember walking with my head down, and that day was my very first public appearance in America. There was not a single applause for me, not a single one applause. And I just walked into the green room, and I felt that everybody there was just staring into my soul and asking me, what the hell did you just do there? And I sat down, my hands dug into my palm, and I was just thinking one thing that day, that from now onwards, no one will invite a woman from India to speak on leadership in this field. No one. I had failed on a major scale. So I drove back, and I remember that ride back home to North Carolina was very torturous. I was crying. I was weeping. Forget crying. Weeping that I should have listened to everybody. I went home. The next few months, my career life just dragged. I would wake up in the morning, and I would see if there is any coaching session to do. And in those days, I used to do coaching sessions for a mere $45 to the skyrocket price that I charge now. That was just $45 an hour, and I would go wherever you tell me. And if someone would tell me that, you know what, you have to speak at this event, what do you think my answer was? Speaking at me in front of people? Absolutely not. It's no way. And then one day, I remember after 6 or 7 months, I was driving my older daughter to her swim lessons. And she insisted that I switch on the radio because she wanted to hear the top 10 songs that were coming off Bollywood. And somehow I just switched it on for her. I was in no mood of doing it. And during the break, there was something that I heard and I wrote it down that changed my career life forever. I dropped her to her swim lessons, and I wrote down and I read what I had written. What was written was, what you talk to yourself, about yourself, when by yourself is a game changer in your life. What you talk to yourself, about yourself, when by yourself is a game changer in your life. And I knew exactly where my problem was. You think I was not working hard? Of course, I was working harder than anybody over there because I was a woman of color. I had to put in more work. Do you think I was not putting in the efforts, not meeting people? I was doing every damn thing. Do you think I didn't have the degrees? Do you think I didn't have the credentials? I had everything. Still, I was failing on a larger scale. My friends, after reading that, I realized I did not fail on the stage that day of Atlanta. I had failed long before when I was practicing. Because when I was practicing alone, do you know what my thoughts were? My thoughts were, is it going to be okay? I mean, I am not one of them. How should I stand? How should I fit in like them? What should I do? Will they appreciate what I am saying? Will I be able to say it? Am I even capable of it? I mean, who is Payal Nanjiani? At that time, nobody knew this name. So why would I be invited with such top speakers and speak there? That was my thought process. I failed long before. I didn't fail that day. You never will fail on the day of your exam. You will never fail on the day of what you're doing. You will fail much before, internally. And after that, my career life was going down, not because of that failure. It was going down because I was telling myself, you know what, Payal? Every damn well-wisher of yours, and I'm sure you must have gone through it, when you want to do something and people tell you, don't do it. It's a career suicide. Are you mad? This field is not for you. It's nothing. इसमें कुछ नहीं रखा है. There are others who are doing better. See what they are doing and take that line. It is safer. How many of us hear this every day? So people have told me that, you know what, this is a career suicide. Who leaves a stable job in America and get into a field which is completely white, male dominated? And it was correct. Because people from India are seen as someone who can work heads down with an MBA or an engineering degree under them and just keep working. Somewhere you will reach one day. And if you're in that 0.5% of becoming an Indian American CEO, you will become. This field? Absolutely no. But that changed my entire outlook. And I can promise you, my friends, had this incident not taken place in my life, I would never have been known as the only woman of India to be an executive coach, a writer, and a speaker in a completely white male-dominated industry. And I share this with you not to impress you, my friends, but to express to you, it is important what you talk to yourself. It is so important that this fourth book of mine that got released last year in November, this is the latest one. Fifth one is in process now. The first book, can I have the next one? No, the next one. This was the first book. The first book had 22 rejections. 22 rejections. The manuscript was ready. The entire book was ready. It was called Success is Within. Somehow, Routledge Publishers, with which the fourth book has also come out, Routledge Publishers had trust in me, had trust on my content, because I write only on corporate leadership and how somebody can become successful in their life. That someone can be anyone. How do you become successful in your life? How do you become that leader like nobody else? He trusted the manuscript and he gave it a chance. 22 rejections, 2 years of rejections. 2 years of sending that manuscript to everybody in the fear that what if somebody takes my content? What if I'm sending it, but somebody just takes it and then I never hear from them and that content gets released somewhere else with another name? Because I had a lot of faith in my content. Because I knew that the world is looking at externals and I am helping people to change their mindset and behavior. That's the only way you can become successful in life. You cannot become successful just based on your degrees or your credentials or your efforts or the college name. You have to make sure that there is inside of you that thing. So that's when in 2017 the first book got released with the title of Success is Within. And this is a very it's an impromptu picture that my husband took because I was crying in this picture and he just immediately took it. Though you see me smiling, I know how that picture was taken. That book got so famous. This is the mayor in the US. He's the one who actually inaugurated the book back then because the book had acclaimed a lot. That success is within you, and in the US it was something very different in those days. So TJ Colley is the mayor. He's the one who inaugurated the book. He gave a speech on the book that went into the US media and YouTube and everywhere else. It's still on my YouTube, I think. The book got featured on Fox 50 News in the United States. That how we can really become successful by knowing what is within us and how do we develop that leader inside of us. After that, the journey became not smooth, but it did become better. Got featured into the Business and Professional magazine back there as the only Indian women doing this back in the US. Okay, after that, was the journey smooth? No. When it came to writing books, yes, it became smoother because I was able to secure a publisher who would publish the book so that I can keep writing. I didn't know I would keep writing, I'll come to that. When it came to speaking and training, it is unbelievable that there were times when nobody showed up in the room. Nobody. I wish I had put a picture here, I did have that picture. I would be invited to speak at a business forum and they would say, oh, Payal is coming to speak, and there was not a single person in the room. Not a single person. It was torturous, it was hurtful to see that nobody comes to listen to you at that point of time. But I kept going. I just kept going. I kept going to a point where it reached here, where there were thousands of people in the room coming to listen to me. From no one in the room to 3 to 4 people in the room to thousands of people in the room, and you are on the stage. That journey, my friends, each of us can do it. I don't know what you want to become in your life, where you want to go, and I will come to that when I start the workshop. What you talk to yourself, about yourself, when by yourself, is the game changer. It is okay to give up. It is completely fine to give up, but you have to know what to give up. Don't give up on your goal. Don't give up on your dreams that you have. Give up your procrastination. It's okay to give up. It's great to give up. Give up is a great leadership quality, let me tell you that. I always write about it. Giving up is a great leadership quality. You need to know what to give up. Give up the procrastination. Give up those limiting beliefs. Give up those self-doubts. Learn to give up. When people tell you, oh, you should never give up, of course I have to give up. If I don't give up on these things, where will I reach? How will I embrace the new things? So, book, then after all of this happened, I continued writing. I continued the journey of writing with the fourth book. The fourth book got titled as Make It to the Top. So this book came as I wanted to write it for every level. Every level. The earlier book is written for top-end executives. The previous two books were written for mid-managers. But this book, when I traveled around the world and I saw that it's difficult for everyone to achieve success, it's not an easy game. People feel that what they need. Think about it, my friends. When you go on Google and you type how to become successful, today it's ChatGPT also, right? You will get lots of information. Am I correct? Why then everybody is not successful? You have the information.
Because of their mindset.
Okay, but then if you go on Google and you say, okay, how do I become a better person? How do I change my mindset? You will get those information also. When you don't implement it and when you don't know how to implement it.
Ma'am, Google doesn't know us. So our approach is different from everyone.
Google doesn't know your potential either, right? You don't know how to do it. Go and type on Google, how did some of these successful people become successful? They will give you the pointers. They wake up in the morning at 5, they do this, they do that. That is not even 1/3 of the truth. When I started working with these CEOs, these government officials, I started coaching I started working with a lot of spiritual gurus, a lot of these industry tycoons. I wish I had brought some pictures to show you all. None of what they do is written on Google. So I work first hand with them. I coach them on many things. Today the people that you see publicly known, those that you admire, I have worked behind the scenes with them. I have worked behind the scenes with many government officials, CEOs, business tycoons. I have seen their fears. I have seen that even at that level, when you're at the top, there is so much missing in them. And so I started to distill those and write it and put it down in my book. All my books, you will have real life examples. I have never put anything which is not real. My own failures, failure stories and success stories of my clients, every real thing that this is what they do. Can you do that? And when you read my books, my friends, you will see, is it really that simple? Was it this practice that makes me there? So then this book came out as someone for everyone, whatever level you are, whatever you want to do. How you make yourself, that is very important. Okay? For Q&A, you start for Q&A. 20 minutes, right? Yeah, this session. Okay. Let me ask you all now. What do you want to do? You want to do Q&A or you want me to read something from this book and share with you? Both? I will do both. Okay. Let me see what I can. So there is a chapter in this book. Okay. Now this book is all about powers. The chapter is not called chapter 1, chapter 2. This book speaks about the powers all of us have and how we are not using those powers. So for example, okay, and by the way, the foreword of this book is written by Mr. Sandeep Singh, who is the managing director of Tata Hitachi. So you will see in this book that these are powers that we all have at whatever age we are. Like for example, the power of focus, the power of working like an immigrant. So, I've seen in the US there are so many immigrants who come and the way they work is very different from what we work in the US or what we do here. So those are the powers to use. The power of betting on yourself. How many of you bet on yourself? How does that feel?
Encouraging.
Encouraging. Yes, encouraging. What else? How does it feel to bet on yourself? I know how positively we say to the other person, "Arey, come on, of course you can do it." We tell our friends, right? We encourage our friends, "Yeah, of course you can do it." How many of us bet on ourselves that I know I can do it?
I bet, but I don't know if I can do it. I bet on myself, but I don't know if I can do it.
If you bet on yourself, you will do it. It's always you versus you. It's always you versus you. I don't think I have ever, touch wood, in my life competed with anybody. I never competed with anybody till now. I'm writing my 4th book, somebody is writing the 5th book, God bless. I know which book I have to write. It's my journey. Right? There is a power of sow and reap. All heard it, right? But how do you use that in your work life? It's easy to say what I'm sowing, what I'm reaping, but in the work life it's very different. After graduating from here, you all are going to go into the workforce. So all these things will become important for you along with the degree that you have. How many of us have trained, the power is called train your brain to say no. How many of us train our brain to say no? Right? Another power is avoid the shiny object syndrome. Do you know what is shiny object syndrome? Yeah? What is it?
Whatever is shiny, maybe something from far away, and it's shiny, unnecessary to diagnose.
Ma'am, all the data is not told for actually.
Okay, a little more deeper. Think of it in the work perspective now. I'm taking you to that direction.
Not every time we have the opportunity is to
Shiny object syndrome. Somebody. Don't you search it on Google. Come on, just think. Shiny, you know, when I teach leadership courses in colleges, I always tell them, I said Google should be your last resource. Learn how to research, learn how to use your mind, and I can tell you, you'll be amazingly surprised at yourself.
For example, someone who invests in stocks, they should know where exactly and which stock is going to go up and where they are going to earn the money. They shouldn't invest for one where, I mean, it's based on luck after all. But you have to know the different kinds of stocks in order to invest.
No. Shiny object syndrome.
maybe somebody is offering me more salary in respect, and I get so attracted to that salary that I do not focus on what the job profile is, how much am I satisfied with the job profile, and I go for a better pay rather than better satisfaction.
Okay. Could be, but still. Okay, how many of you have this in your own life? Maybe now, I don't know if you have experienced this, but for example, I am now working, say, on a project, okay, and I decided I should write a book. Fine, so I decided I should write a book. I start writing a book. Next thing I come to know is making videos on YouTube is better than writing a book. So I leave writing the book and I go to videos. While I'm making the videos and I put everything together, everyone says, and I come to know, actually audios are working better these days. The podcast is better, it's coming out. So I leave the videos and I go to, that is called a shiny object syndrome. And I promise you, the moment you will go from this college and go into the workforce, you will have a lot of shiny object syndrome. Everything will pull you. So you will be a jack of all trades and a master of none. A lot of people have told me podcast is not something to start, but I know why I started the podcast in 2019, and I know why I'm keeping on going. It has come in the top 10% today in the world, but not just because I started it, but because there's value to what is being said there. Everyone is on videos. I'm not much on videos. Does that mean my work is not going good? I'm less successful? I don't know. I have no idea, because success means different things to everybody. I know what I need from that podcast, what the world needs for that podcast. It is a world, global podcast. It's not pertaining to India as such. So people will pull you in all directions. Today you are doing this course here in the college. There'll be a lot of people who will tell you, oh, why are you doing it here? Why don't you do it in that place? No, you have chosen this college for a reason. Complete it. You have chosen this college. You have decided this field, I'm assuming. Your parents have not decided it for you. If you have decided it, complete it. So shiny object syndrome is one of them. One of the powers is use your $1 million asset. Which is your $1 million asset that you can use in the workforce? Deeper. Mind, go deeper. No, mind. Go deeper in that. Your subconscious mind. A lot of these CEOs who I speak with, a lot of these CEOs and industry tycoons who I coach, they have the experience, the degrees, every damn thing. Why do they still fail? Why do you hear failure stories of them? Your $1 million asset. My friends, success has nothing to do with what's external. It has everything to do what's internal. We feel that leadership is an outer skill. Leadership is an inside game. That is one quote of mine that got trademarked. That leadership is an inside game. And if you cannot play this game inside, you cannot win outside. Impossible. Impossible. You want to become successful, there's another path to it. It cannot be just based on what you know. What about, okay, power 18, optimize your weekend. What does that mean? Optimize your weekend. Come on, someone. Because everybody smiled. Oh my goodness, really? What does it mean, optimize your weekend?
We tend to just lay back or relax when the weekend comes, try to clock off. But that is when you have those extras which are as it is cribbing for. That is when you can utilize it.
Perfect. Perfect. You don't have to work 24/7 on a weekend unless you're a workaholic like me. Otherwise, you can optimize your weekend by just knowing what you want to do in it. At least an hour, give it to yourself. What more could you do rather than a 9-to-5 job? If you want to grow, it will not happen during the 9-to-5. That's my guarantee. It will never happen in the 9-to-5 hours. There has to be some extra hours clocked in for yourself without anybody else knowing it. When you go back from college, back home, what do you do on a weekend? Of course, you're not doing the weekend, and that you should do. But that 1 hour that you will give yourself before coming back on Monday is the extra that you will do. Right? Take your people with you. What would that mean to you? Take your people with you. What would that mean? You're not meant to do everything alone, so don't leave your teams behind. I'm not stressing that much now because you're still not there, I think, but when I say people, it's not only your teams, it's also your parents, it's also your family. I can assure you, you will not be successful if you cut yourself off from your roots. I have always believed in that. Your roots are your teachers, your roots are your college, your alumni, your parents, your siblings. You cannot go there alone. You will need them. And I have seen it in a lot of CEOs who have reached there alone and have regretted lifetime. Okay. Cut the cord at the right time. Cut the cord at the right time. That's another power I have written. What does that mean? Most of us don't use it.
Knowing when you have reached your capacity and quality and doing what you
It is very easy to say what she said, but very difficult to do. Most people get so emotionally attached to their jobs, so emotionally attached to their company, they feel that nothing else will be better in their life than this. I know people recently who have been stuck in the company, knowing that the company is not giving them any further growth, but they are still stuck there. Why? I don't think I can do anything better. I mean, come on, Payal, 18 years I have been in this company. I don't even know if outside what will I be. How do you know until you don't take that step? I didn't know I would write the fourth book until I wrote the first book. I never knew the first book will be completed unless I wrote the first chapter. So you have to cut the cord at the right time. Otherwise, the return journey is going to be very difficult. It's not going to be easy. Okay, and the last power was build emotional strength. Something which is going to be needed a lot in a generation of AI that you are all stepping into. Okay, I won't talk much about this. But the last conclusion chapter is, it's not lonely at the top. It's lonely all the way to the top. What does that mean? For me, this was the most important concluding chapter. This is the conclusion. It's not lonely at the top. You all heard that. That is lonely at the top. I had said it's not lonely at the top. It's lonely all the way to the top.
We've always heard that relations get tested when you are going through failure, when bad times hit you. And I think it is related to that because at the top you are your most successful person and people want to surround you. But the journey when you are actually facing failures, when you are struggling, is the time when nobody wants to be around, everybody is like, oh, she can't do it, oh, she cannot, she can never. And that is the time when you feel the most lonely because nobody is there around you to support.
You said it well, but I will say that this is much deeper than that. This is what we all know, what she said, which she was perfect, that nobody is going to be with you, right? So that is perfect. This is all what we know. Now go a little more in the reality. It's lonely at the top, not at the top, but all the way to the top. When you are becoming successful, your mindset will change, right? The friends who are with you, so you're at this level, now you go a little higher. Where have you left people? At the level. Now, those people will either try to pull you down or you will try to bring them up, which is not going to happen. You don't have that time. So you've come to a certain level. Now you are lonelier here. Why? Because those people left you. Now at this level, you are working harder, you're changing yourself more. You will go more higher. You will lose these people. At every point, you will lose people. If you are prepared, the question that I have ended the book with is, are you prepared for the journey to be alone? At every level, you will meet people of your energy level now. But those people with whom you got attached, those who you call your friends, those who you call your supporters, will no longer be with you. Are you prepared to leave them and find a new set and work on yourself and a new set? And at the end of it, I don't know who will be with you, but at the end of it, this journey is only yours, and I promise you, you will complete it alone. Nobody will be there. Because at every stage, new people will join, but your destination, that nobody will be there. You will finish this journey alone. So if you have to finish this journey alone, might as well, why bother of what people are going to tell about you? Why worry what people are going to judge you on? Why not become that person who you want to become, and why not make it to the top? Yeah? So this is all about the book that I have to share with you. I hope in this little time I have been able to make some difference in your life by sharing my own failure stories and my own success stories and sharing the entire journey that I could, giving you a peek into my personal life, who's who in my life. Yeah. So let me hear it from you. Any questions, any thoughts? You can challenge anything that I am saying. I'm completely open to a debate. Let me hear it from you now, before we go ahead.
But it's okay to be workaholic, and how you manage your career is people will pull you down. Because not everybody can manage that, work level and have. So how do you manage and balance all that?
That's a nice one. She said that how do you balance everything, right? So, do you have to be a workaholic? Not really. I said I am a workaholic. Okay? Because for me, my work means everything. For me, my work is very divine. At the end of the day, I actually offer it to the Lord that this is what I did today, and I hope it it is good, and if I can be better, please help me to be better. To me, that's the peak of work. How do you balance it? There cannot be any balance. That's a term we have been fed. It's a myth that we have been fed, and we are going on with that myth. But if you see some of these successful people I work with, there is no balance. Absolutely. You have to prioritize. That's the only thing. You can integrate work and home. I don't know how you can balance that. Oh, this is 9 to 5, I have finished my work, now let me go back home. It's like saying, I have finished my college now, let me go back home and tune off the college. No, you're still studying. You're still opening the book. You're still connecting with the friends. Where have you tuned off? College is still in you. Your professors are still, they are in your mind. You can hear them. I can hear them. Where are you tuned off, right? The same thing is with work. So you have to know what is your priority. For some, a lot of women who I work with a lot of women in the industry also. Those who are in the workforce, still not reached there, they are consistently battling. Finish my work, go home, get everything done. I have to manage the home. Not really. It's a partnership. It's a partnership with your family, whoever is in your family. Before it's your parents, after that when you marry it's your spouse. Both are equally responsible in the house. It's not a one person's task to do outside and inside. So learn how to prioritize. Can I give you an example, can I give a real life incidents from my own life in this? I remember a time when my second daughter, she had flu, she got flu, and in the US the flu is really bad. So she had a temperature of 103 or something, had taken her to the doctor, got the medication and everything. And my husband had to fly to India for work, like he had a 10-day trip to India because of his work from his company. And he had already left, and I had a session to do. A public session to do, and I remember the posters and all were out and everything was out. Her fever was still there, like it was manageable, but I didn't know what to do, so I had to go. Her fever was still there, it had come down between 100 to 102, but she was still sick, and she was only 4.5 or 5 years at that time. I knew I had to reach there. And my maid was a Spanish person. Now I couldn't leave her with a Spanish person who would not understand English, right? So I didn't know what to do, how to do it. And there were two ways. Either I call up the institute and I say, look, I cannot come. I really cannot come. It's a valid reason. My daughter has flu. Everybody knows what flu means in the US. I really cannot make it. Can we move this or can we cancel this? Or the second option is to reach there. I chose the latter. I said, I have to reach there. This is my work. Nobody is going to come and push me, and I cannot ask my husband, should I go? He will say, don't go. Because it's not his, it's mine. It is my ownership, it's not his. He knows what he has to do. So I did not ask anyone. What I did was, I actually told my older one, at that time she must have been around 10 or 11 or 12. She was in high school, that's what I remember. And the younger one was in the elementary school. I told my daughter, I said, you take a leave today from school. She said, what? Which mom says take a leave from the school and bunk school? I said, for one day you will have to do this. I'll call up your school. So I called up the school, I spoke to the coordinator. I said, look, this is my thing. And they knew who I am at that point of time. I said, this is what the problem is. And I can send her half a day. I will be back by then. Somehow got it arranged. Kept the thermometer, kept everything ready. I told the maid, I said, look, this is what you're supposed to cook for her. Kept everything ready. The maid had to leave, so she left. So it's both my daughters alone at home. I gave her the number of my executive, of my assistant. Told her this is the number, she will be with me for any emergency 911. They knew everything, nothing as that sir. What I did was, I said I will come for the session, but I will not do the book signing. Because book signing takes a lot of time. A lot of people come, take pictures, they want to take individual pictures, sign. I said, just forgive me, I will not be able to do the book signing, but I will definitely speak at your event. It was a keynote speaking I had to do. I finished that, rushed back home, and everything was settled. It's the prioritization. And how you prioritize and make your arrangements. Don't blame people. Because of my child I couldn't do it, because of my husband I could not do it, because of the maid I could not do it. Don't blame it. So that's how I would say you can create that prioritization. Any other thoughts?
Ma'am, can you share something success and luck factors?
Good one. How many of you believe you need luck to be successful? We do, right? Okay, so I'll give you the thing. No, she said luck. The harder you work, the luckier you get. The luckier you become, the harder you need to work. That's the combination. The harder you work, the luckier you get. The luckier you get, the more you work. My dad had told me something very nice. He said that if you don't work, you will not know where you can get. So, people say सब कुछ लिखा हुआ है, everything is destined in your life, and I do believe in that everything is destined. But at the same time, the universe, God, whoever you believe in, has given you the mind, which means that even the higher power wanted you to use it. इसीलिए दिया है ना, मतलब otherwise तो they have not given it to animals so freely and everyone. Humans को दिया हुआ है. That's how we came from the Stone Age to the Industrial Age to the AI age. Because the universe said, I'm just putting you here. Now you make those changes on Earth. How else did we come and transition to an age of robots right now? Why is technology moving so soon? It's coming from here. Means even the God believes, isko use kar lo. I'm giving you this. I'm not giving you anything else. You will change the world. He has not changed the world. He said humans will go down and change the world. So, if you don't try yourself, that's what is called bet on yourself. If you don't bet on yourself, you will never know till the last moment of your life what you were capable of doing. So every single day, you have to challenge yourself. If I have come to a level X, can I do X plus 1? I may not have the resources today. I might not have the capability right now. But just what if it clicks? That what if is very important in your life. What if a publisher accepts my book? What if? So try yourself. Luck will come on its own. If it doesn't have to happen, something else will happen because you work to it. The path is not like this. The path is always like this. So luck is a factor you have to pull into your life. You have to attract it. Maybe not in a field that you have chosen, but somewhere it will play its game. You have to be patient for that. That's what luck is.
There's a constant battle between your heart and your mind when even in the workplace you don't know and you get so confused which one to follow. A lot of people keep saying no, follow your heart, but a lot of people also tell that no, heart usually misguides you. You need to think from your mind and take decisions not emotionally but rationally. So what do you think should be?
I think decisions have a lot of emotions. Decisions are made because of emotions. A lot of times we make decisions and then we regret later. Where did that come from? Right? And a lot of decisions we make and we feel very happy about. Both decisions come from emotions, and that is something we teach to the executives, that decision is equal to event plus emotions. It's not just the event, you have to know how to manage. That's why there's a topic here in the chapter. Emotional strength is very important. But between the heart and the mind, which one usually plays the havoc? Your mind is designed for what? For? Okay, your mind is designed for failure or success. Your mind is not designed for either. So, I will tell you something about myself. I, as an individual, whatever content I write, I do a lot of study on quantum physics, on science, on neuroscience, and the psychology of successful people. All of my work comes from there. I still study. I am right now enrolled in Harvard to study about positive psychology. Because I believe that the more you learn, the more you can teach your people, right? So your brain is designed not for success, not for failure. It is designed for survival. And so if you have failed, your brain will come, that's why the subconscious mind, your brain will tell you, don't go there. Last time you failed and everybody was laughing on you. Don't go there. And so we pull ourselves back. So that's where the brain is designed. Your heart is designed for what? Now, apart from love. What is it designed for? Emotions. Now, no happiness, no sadness. That's where your emotions play. But your emotions are also connected to the brain, and I'll tell you later in the session how. So between the heart and the mind, there has to be a proper thinking which is called metacognition of how you think. You don't think when you don't make decisions when you're happy, you don't make decisions when you're sad. You make decisions when you're neutral. Because when you're happy, you will overcome it. And when you're sad, you will pull yourself back. Come to a point where you feel, okay, now I am not in that emotion thing. How do I do this? And there's a process to make a decision. We don't make impromptu decisions. We teach how to, even when I'm teaching the leadership course to the students, we teach how to make proper decisions in your career life, right? So that's where.
Now there are different types of people, like there are different personalities. Like some are very extrovert, outgoing, some are very introvert. So my question to you is that do you think the quality of being an introvert, the quality of being reticent, is a kind of hindrance to your success?
This is such a nice question. Am I an introvert or an extrovert? I am an introvert. Right? Most of the successful people I have worked with are introverts. There are a lot of people who come to me for coaching. They are mid managers or executives, leaders, and they would say, "Can you help me to become an extrovert, Payal?" And I say, "No." Number one, I don't think you should even go that way. And number two, even if I make you an extrovert, it's not going to help you. You have to know how to leverage your quality in the workforce. Don't change unless it's a change for the better. What does introvert mean? When you say I'm an introvert, what does it mean? Not meeting people, not sharing. Come on, what? How many of you, okay, let's be honest here. I told you I'm an introvert. How many of you think you're an introvert? So what does an introvert mean? Socially shy, okay? How many of you feel you're an extrovert? What does an extrovert mean? Outgoing, okay? Sharing?
Friendly.
Outspoken?
Friendly.
Friendly? Can it be a disadvantage? How? How?
Overshare.
Overshare? Overtalk? Don't let somebody else talk? You only talk? Right? Can introvert be a disadvantage?
Yes.
How?
No sharing.
You can't make connections with
You can't build connections. Right? You can't sharing. So see, everything. So if I tell you, come on, let's become an extrovert, but extroverts have a lot of issues. I tell you, become an introvert, introverts have a lot of issues. So whoever you are as a personality, use that. Introverts, one of the major personality trait of theirs is they can sit alone for hours and get the work done. They can reflect so much on themselves and they can know exactly what the next step looks. You might feel, अरे ये क्या बात ही नहीं करते, मगर जो सही वक्त होगा ना, they will talk. So use your extrovert and introvert qualities. I have never coached anyone to change their basic quality. I have only helped them become. There is only one thing I know in my life, is how to make people successful in their career and how to make them one of the best leaders in the world. That's the only thing I teach when I teach the courses in college. We have a 30-hour course which I teach in colleges, or when I'm talking with these executives. How do you become successful and how do you become one of the best leaders in the world? So use your quality. There is absolutely nothing like which quality is good or bad. Anything else?
So you talk about types of leaders where only a few people am I audible? So where only few people turned up for the speeches. What was the one thing that kept you going? Because I know it can be very difficult. How do you keep?
It's killing. You have to have a purpose. You have to have a purpose. For me, at that time, absolutely there was no purpose to keep me going. What at that time was, nobody came at all. And everybody was telling me, I told you first only, nobody comes to listen to an Indian American. Nobody is in this field. I think that kept me challenged. Ki, theek hai, I will show it. ठीक है नहीं है ना, nobody has published a book ना. Today also if you search it on Google you will get it. That leadership books were published first by us. I was known for it. Like basically I got known for that. So I think I just told myself कि ठीक है देखते हैं, maybe I could be the first one, क्या पता. Could be. Same thing like she said, luck. Let me try it and see. Worst comes to worst, what will happen? There are only two options. Either I go back into the corporate America and then show everybody that I couldn't do it, or I just stick there and just keep going. And I remember at that time, despite being married, I had my own bank account. My bank account came down to $18 to survive for myself. $18, what would I do with it? How would I pay for my own going out with my friends, talking? What would I do? And I think that number made me feel that, oh God, do I have to tell my husband that now you have to, put some money in my account? What do I do? I had to sustain. What did I do in those days when my work was not going good? I started teaching Zumba because I was very passionate about fitness. So I did a Zumba course also, that at least let me get somewhere to earn. And once this picked up, I had a choice. Shiny object syndrome. I left that. I cannot concentrate on two things, and then I just mastered in leadership. Today, if you ask me, Payal, what do you know? I only know leadership, nothing more. I have no other interest except making people successful and becoming best leaders. So I think that's what kept me going in those years. And now what keeps me going, because of which I came to India after my mom's heart attack, was to make sure that we develop more leaders in India. Today, India is my focus. You pay me, don't pay me, India is my focus today. How can I bring up India? We are working with the PMO's office for it. How do we bring up India on the leadership map? How do we develop more leaders here and not look at the West for it? So there has to be some purpose that will keep you grounded where you are. Otherwise you will give up and run away.
So how do you, as a being in a leadership position So being in a leadership position, you often come at times where you have to take a decision which you know will make your subordinates unhappy, or your colleagues unhappy. Then, as a people pleaser, how do you, if you are a people pleaser like I am at times, how do you make that decision? How do you strike the balance between getting your work done, and being okay with it? What these people will be unhappy with this decision. Yeah.
We are shifting.
You use the word people pleaser. And that's why I wanted to write this. It is I think this is something I had written in my third book. We all have this as leaders. Attention and approval seeking disorder. It was a term derived by me only. We all have it. I will not believe if anyone, even at the top position, comes and tells me, no, Payal, I know every damn person on this earth faces AASD. Okay? Approval and attention and approval seeking disorder. where we want validation. He used the word that my people might not be happy with the decision I make. And at that time, what do we do when we know our people are not going to be happy with the decision? What do? We try to please them. Why? Validation. Fear of what? So we need validation. Why do we need validation? Have you ever thought? Think about, okay, I'm just coming down from a step from what he said. Think about your life right now. What is a major fear you have when you want to do something big in your life? When you forget big, you want to do something only, you will be scared. Of what? People will not be with you, but there's something more. Rejection, judgment. Rejection and everything is later. That is inside of you. Fear of judgment. And every college that I have taught this course, I have had people say this. And I wonder, what is this fear of judgment? From where is this fear of judgment coming? Because this leadership quality, if you don't get it now, you will carry it with you in the workforce. If you are fearful of being judged here amongst people who know you, teachers who are supportive, everything is there, you're still fear of judgment. What makes you feel you will go out there in the world and create history? Even if you want. Fear of judgment comes from where? Self-doubt came from where? Where did that confidence go? How did you're not born like that, right? External started from where?
From the people around.
That's it. He nailed it. It started from the family. So and so is doing this, you can also do it. They got 80, can't you get it? I don't think you should do this. I told you you will fail. You don't listen to me, I told you you will fail. But you don't want to listen to me. We are your parents. Keeps going. Now when that gets fed inside, when you come out here into the school, okay, I don't know, mom said, dad said, I know the answer, but I will not answer. Then it came to the college. You know the answer, but you will not raise your hand. Why? क्या पता, हो सकता है गलत है, सब हंसेंगे मेरे ऊपर. So it stayed here also. Now you went into the workforce. You built a team. A team is not validating. You want to make a decision, but a decision case, you won't be able to make that decision now. Teachers did everything to get you here. Parents did everything to get you to the college. सब कुछ हो गया, but that still is there in you. What if they laugh on me? What if I ask the wrong question in the board meeting? My God, my seniors are here. What? Forget seniors. Interview. Interview क्या वाला क्या सोचेगा मेरे बारे में? So that means I will play small in the interview also. Why? Because everyone has been telling me this. और अब तो it's come to a point where everyone around me told me, संभल के बात करना interview में, ऐसा नहीं कि you won't get the job. Oh my God. So much stress on myself. It all starts inside our own family and then comes inside us. So by the time we reach to the workforce, and like he said, I want to make a decision, but now what do? My team is not happy with the decision. I have AASD to a higher extent now. Everyone has approval and attention disorder. It's just the degree varies. Minimize that degree. As a leader, your job is what? Get things done in the right way. If the decision is right for the team, for the organization, you have to take it. As Steve Jobs said, you are not in the business of selling ice creams that you have to make everybody happy. Even ice cream doesn't make everyone happy. So why would we? So at the same time, you have to know, is your decision right? Is your intention behind the decision right? If your intention is not correct, the decision is not going to be correct, my friends. So come out of this. This is one of the leadership qualities I tell people to build. Come out of this. Don't have an attention and approval seeking disorder. Make sure that whatever you do, you're doing it with the correct intention for yourself, for your growth. Can I ask you to do something? I want you to write down, just for yourself, What is it that you want to achieve? Just generally, what is it that you want to achieve in your life? Just write it for yourself in one sentence. This is where I see my end in my career. I want to become here. Whatever comes to your mind, just write it down. Do you all have written? I just want you to write down what do you want to become. How many of you have no idea about it? Be honest. I'm here to help you. I'm not here to judge you. How many of you know what you want to become? What are the rest doing? Are you waiting that, okay, she will tell me what I'm supposed to become? No, I will not. Think again. Maybe nobody might have asked you this, maybe you never had the time to think about it. I want you to do this for yourself. Please write down whatever comes to your mind without thinking what your current situation is. I don't want you to think, I actually want to open my own preschool, but I cannot. मेरे पास ना resources है, ना money है, I don't want you to think that. I just want you to write, what do you really want to achieve in your field? What do you want to write? Without thinking whether you can or you cannot. I will take you there. But just write this down for me, please. What do you really want to achieve in your field? Sentence. And then we will take a quick break of 5 minutes and we'll come back. But what do you want to achieve? I wanted to leave you there with this. What do you really want to achieve in your field? Okay? Let's take a 5 minutes break. Okay, just to check, is this okay for you or do you want me to do slides and all this? Is the dialogue okay? Great. So let's come back in 5 minutes and we'll take it from there then.
बंद कर दो वापस लाइव जाने में 2 लाइन हो गया
2 लाइन हो गई चलेगा कितने लाइन हो गया स्टेज पे
इट्स टू स्टेज
अभी क्या करना है
down. I hope you had this refreshing break, a bite or two, a sip or two. And now let's get back to listening and of course more of interaction. Ma'am?
अरे भाई
आपकी सबको इतनी बड़ी बोतल किसी की पानी की तेरी
Okay. Last few minutes that we have together. Had a good break? Are you happy with what you have written that you want to become or what you want to achieve?
Yes.
Now, how many of you really have that this is what I want to become? How many of you still confused? What is the confusion about? Okay, will I be able to become? There was no question. Okay.
For me, there are multiple books that I have read, and there are multiple people that publish these books, but you don't know what works for you and what will not. And also, there are a lot of things now on social media and Instagram that, okay, you need to break the matrix, you need to be different. And most of the books that are written are really written from the Western perspective. So, even if you apply that over here, which I have tried to in my life, it gives you a very militant result. So, how do we sort of bridge the gap or try and apply that over here in this working space?
Can you give me an example? Because I like what you said that a lot of books are written with the Western perspective.
So, for example, when I was reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, they talk a lot about how the Western world works, how you need to wake up and do the grind before people wake up.
Correct.
How you need to be the early bird.
Correct. So what is so different in that in the Western and
Over here, everybody has a particular working hour. So even like I see my friends that work at corporate, no matter even if the office calls at 8 o'clock in the morning, you're not attending to client calls before 10 because nobody's going to be available to you.
Correct.
So what exactly are you going to grasp in that?
So you have to pick up what it means. What that sentence means itself is that you grind before everybody else grinds. That doesn't mean you reach office before everybody else reaches office, right? So in the US, the trend is to start very early also. It's not that it starts late, right? So if you're in a place like San Jose or something where you teach, those places will also, there are bosses who come at 7 o'clock in the morning. And there are bosses who will come 7 o'clock in the morning and you also have to be there, right? There are places in the US like Dallas and New York and all, which start late, right? Because it's more of a financial hub and a complete fashion hub, like a marketing place. Those will start late. Places like LA start more later. What this means is, how do you imbibe that if everybody else is coming to work at 10 and waking up at 9 and hurrying up and reaching, how can I wake up at 5 and do all the major grinding at that point of time and then come to my work? Right? So it doesn't mean so definitely there will be a difference in the timing of every office. Bless you. But how do I actually wake up in the morning before everybody else? So others are waking up at 8:39, rushing through their day, checking their phone, reaching the workplace. I woke up at 5 and I did something which you are not. I was reading, I was going through some stuff, I was listening to some podcast, I was preparing myself for the day. I become better than you in the game. That's what it means. Does it make sense? Other questions?
Yes.
I'll keep going with the questions only and I'll take you through that. So now you all have at least what you want to become. Before I just come to that, you all have at least what you want to become. And if there's a confusion, like she said, will I be able to achieve it? That's not a question to be asked. What's the question that you have to ask? Okay, now what I want you to do is, just like you have written that this is what I want to achieve, I want you to write down at least 15 action plans that you think you should do to achieve that. Not can I achieve it, not do I have the resources to achieve it, just I want you to write down what are the ways I need to achieve it. What are the things I should do, I must do to achieve it. Can you write that down? See, I don't want to leave you just by talking. I want to leave you with something that you can refer to even years later down your life. Okay, write down whatever action plans, at least 15. I don't want you to stop before 15. 15 such action plans that I know I have to do this, I have to, I must, I should.
I have a question regarding what do I want my life for. Does it have to be a professional specifically or charity or more not related to your profession?
Professional. If you don't know what you really want to achieve at the end of it all, at least think what I want to achieve as soon as I start my work in the first year. I used to do a lot of workshops for teachers, like they were already preschool teachers, they were already into the workforce. And one of the things they used to tell me is, when I used to ask them, what are you doing? Oh, I just teach. I just teach. Why do you want to use the word just? I'm just a teacher. So I used to do, even now we do it in India also, in a lot of colleges we do faculty training. Faculty training is for their admins, their teachers, for their directors, their principals, HODs, with the mindset that every person sitting out here is a leader. You have to know how to lead the way. Lead the way for the students, lead the way for the parents, lead the way for the place where you are going to be teaching. But you cannot say, I'm a teacher. You have to consider yourself as a leader. Leadership is an inbuilt quality. Doesn't matter, whatever is your profession. Right? So even entrepreneurs, they tell me I'm an entrepreneur. You cannot be a great entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur if you're not a great leader. That's the foundation of every success, right? So write down what are the things that you have to do to achieve this. Don't think of the resources, don't think of whether you can or not. Please absolutely don't think of whether you have it in you or not. Do your resources have it? Will your parents permit you? I don't want anything. I just want your 15 action plan. That's it. This is the 15 things I know I have to do to get there. Just write that down. It's not a group activity. So, I'll tell you something interesting. So, whenever whichever colleges I do this 30-hour course, there is a rule. Absolutely, you will have to be paper pencil. You will not be able to write on your cell phone. You will have to bring a book because that book will be with you for 30 hours. And you will have to write down everything. You know, there will be nothing like you can type on your phone or you can do it on a laptop. Very hands-on classes. So today when I'm seeing you and I'm like, oh, okay, I have that urge of saying stop writing on the phone. I'm like, okay, do it. We are not doing the course yet here. Okay, you have something that you've written? Okay, maybe not 15, but you have to really start taking that action now. So the first thing is you have to know what you want to become. That's the biggest leadership quality you have to have in you, that what I need to set my own goals, my own areas of where I want to reach without anyone telling that to me. Second is you have to have action plans which you have written. Third major quality is execution. Can you put an asterisk on one of them that you feel can be done immediately? All the action plans that you have written, can you put an asterisk on one that you feel you can immediately start off? You have not done it, but you can start. Right? Where is the challenge going to come now? Yeah, you're in the execution. What challenge will come? Make time for it. What else? Knowing that you are in the right direction. How would you know you're in the right direction? Right?
Constantly going towards you, trying even if you are not able to get anywhere.
But how will you know that you're in the right direction? Research. How will you know you're in the right direction?
I think a sign to tell that it is working would be to see results for those people.
That's it. You should be able to see this at every level. Without it, there is no leadership. Without this, there is absolutely no leadership. You have to know the results that you are going to get. Okay? You had a question.
How can I speak to my goal?
Let's respect.
How can I stick to my goal and achieve it without any distractions taking out of it? Without taking my focus out of it.
How do you maintain focus in today's age? Okay, what distracts us? Instagram, okay? Yeah, so what distracts us? Okay. How many of you have heard this from your own parents that these days kids are very distracted? And then what do you respond? See, I work with a lot of students, so I'm very free in talking. What do you respond?
The parents should have a right way of parenting.
Asha, aisa you say? Do you respond that way?
Of course, when I
Huh.
exactly thinking, I am very outspoken to the parents and very upfront and very, you can say, straightforward. Say, I normally say, see, you are the first teachers all over. Your manners, everything, your rules, routine, everything, you are going to be the very first part. Going to be, you are the first faces. The child is going to be inspired. And the parents are the one the children get inspired by. So the parents are the main everything of the child, because that is the growing and learning age, 0 to 5. That is how he builds up himself or herself, manners, etiquettes, everything, presence of mind for the parent. Basically, it's the parent, of course, the family.
How many of you already are teaching in our work experience? Internship, yeah, internship also. Right?
So, now, what if your parents tell you that so distracted you are now? What would be the response? So she gave a correct response. That's correct. This is how, as a teacher, from the teacher's point of view, I will tell her. Now, go back in your time, few years back. Your parents tell you, आजकल कितना distraction, you are not a distracted generation completely. You have no focus. What would be your response? Dismiss it. No response is the best response. How many of us, okay, take it another way. How many of us, when we hear stuff from the parents, we are like, God has given 2 years, use it. Sometimes, I have 2 daughters. Sometimes,
Not a few years back, I would go, even now, sometimes when my mom tells me कि हमने ख्यालों में रहती है, पता नहीं क्या कर रही है, I tend to either get irritated, annoyed, and then reply with such harsh intensity that was not even required.
correct.
That is what
Very true. Now you imagine this is the quality you are building and you are taking into the workforce. How do you know who's your boss? I have had so many incidences I can tell you, which I write in my book, where people leave the job because of the boss. You must have heard, right? People don't leave companies, they leave the boss. Really? What is the guarantee that the next boss will be fine? Next boss will be more irritated than your current boss and your parents also. So if you cannot build this quality right now where you are, of how to handle your own parents, how to give proper responses, what makes you feel you're going to do it outside? Most people don't become successful, again, not because they don't have the knowledge, they don't know how to do it. You have to know how to deal with people. It's one of the basic leadership qualities. People include your own people first. When you're small, fine, it's a good, but as you're maturing, as you're growing, as you're stepping into the workforce, if you cannot deal with your own parents, you don't know how to answer, how to respond, how to have a conversation, how to have difficult conversations, you're in for big trouble out there. What makes you feel that as a teacher, parents who are going to come to you are going to be all sweet and all nice? You know the generation of parents these days, they are going to put all the blame on you. Now what are you going to get irritated with them? You want to control yourself. Now somewhere that control is going to come out again on someone now. Either it will come out on the students, or it will come out on the colleague, or it will come out at the wrong place. So this is a very fertile ground, my friends. When you hear things that irritate you at home, you need to learn how to respond. That's exactly what I tell both my girls. Learn to have difficult conversations with me. It's okay, and they do it. They can talk about any damn thing. Any damn thing. Because it's a conversation. I might not agree. Your boss will not agree with you all the time. The principal, the HOD will not agree with you at all the times. But you should know how to have that conversation and put your thought on the table. If you're not able to answer a simple question, nowadays everybody are so distracted. What is going to happen when you step in there and the HOD or your principal or the director would question you on things? You're going to stay silent. Because that's what you know. Either you can argue and get irritated or you stay silent. You don't know the midway. The midway is, how do I bring my thought on the table? How do I explain myself? And then if someone doesn't understand, at least I've done my work in a proper way, mindfully. Emotional strength, which I said I've written in the book about, is all about starting from now. So always understand, if I cannot deal it at home, what's the way I can deal it outside? It's the same me with the same pattern, right? So coming back to the question, distraction. This generation is very distracted. Does it mean, my answer would be, was my generation not distracted? Just because I didn't grow up in an age of social media and my kids grew, does it mean that I was not distracted and they are more distracted than me? I was distracted in other ways. My parents were distracted in some other ways. Distraction is always there in the universe. It has never gone anywhere. What matters is your focus. You have what we call in leadership, which is a very, very important term and a very simple term. You have a choice to make a decision. And that choice will remain with you as long as you're alive. When you go into the workforce, I told you about this. What do you think this means? Shining object syndrome. It's a distraction. Shining object syndrome is nothing but a distraction. Level of distraction will change. Maybe down the line, at my age, you might not be distracted with social media. You will have a shiny object syndrome. Which means, oh, मुझे ये भी अच्छा लग रहा है, वो भी सब है. Distraction. So make a choice. Focus means I have made a choice to go into this direction. It's my choice. And how do you stay focused? How do you stay focused? Like she said, I want to stay focused on what I want to achieve. How do you stay focused? Meditation. Huh? I know meditation, it's nice.
Plan and concentration on work.
Plan. Always remember one thing, my friends. Write your goals in pen and your plans in pencil. Why? You can erase your plans. Another COVID will come, you can change your plans, but let your goals be in pen, not in pencil. So you can make a plan. What else? What will keep you? I don't know if you can see what I'm writing also. What will keep you focused?
Not training, we will have a goal. If we fix our goal or plan, then we will focus on that.
Have to have this. That's why I told you to write what you want to do. Have to have a purpose somewhere that this will keep me on target. So when I used to be distracted, not that I was not, but when I used to write the book, after every 2 sentences I used to be finish the first book and kitna time se better soch rahe. So I started keeping that, what is that called? Hourglass, sand one. I started keeping that. And I started doing that till it doesn't complete, I will not get up from here and go to the next thing that I want to do. You have to find out ways to train your brain. See, I'll give you one science behind it and then you can decide what it is. When you when I told you write down what you want to achieve, did you see the buzz in the class? There was smiles, there was happiness, there was some buzz in the classroom. When you say, I want to become this, there's an area in your brain called the prefrontal cortex. Okay? The prefrontal cortex gets excited. How we can achieve. Have you heard motivational talks ever? Okay, I don't advocate motivational talks. If someone comes and tells me, I tell them, please don't hear it. What happens when you hear motivational talks? You get tempted to do what? You get tempted to do what? Make fast decisions? No, come on, you're hearing a motivational talk. What do you
works. We call the thought, the positives and the mind.
Positivity comes in to take action, okay? And you want to take action not just for your stuff, you want to conquer the whole world now. That, oh, I can go and achieve anything that I want, right? That's the type of excitement you get when you hear motivational talks. Of course you can do it. And then you start saying, hey, forget my job, I can go and open a big business and I can be world famous, right? All that comes. What happens after that? Why does it go down? Why? Now, why did I say I'm against motivational talks is because motivational speakers know it very well how to attack your prefrontal cortex. They attack your prefrontal cortex, that they know how to keep you excited. Now what no one tells you is, near the prefrontal cortex is an area of the brain called the amygdala. The amygdala is where all the emotions take place. Heart and mind, somebody asked, right? That's where all the emotions take place. Happiness, sadness, tension, anxiety, self-doubt, self-belief, every damn emotion takes place there. And science has proven this, that if you don't know how to break the negative pattern of thoughts and emotions in 17 seconds, it will go into a snowball effect. That's when procrastination comes in, that's when you start to believe you cannot do it, that's when you feel, okay, I know it but I will not execute. And that's what creates the gap between those who reach there and those who don't. 17 seconds is all it takes for the brain to go into a snowball effect. And if you can't cut it in that much time, you're distracted and everything will pull you. That's when people don't know how to say no to things. The reason I asked you to write down what you want to achieve, the actions, the plan that you have, and one thing that you will go out of this class and start doing is because it will tell you this is what I'm supposed to do. You will take the action. Writing a goal, writing the action plan, and the execution is one of the major leadership qualities that you can do. And to keep yourself focused, you have to train your brain, you train that amygdala area not to go into that zone. Make sense? Is it time up or accordingly I'll take the last question? Yeah? Okay, one last question, and then I'll just go through a couple of slides for you. Anyone?
Ma'am, you mentioned about your own, like, the incident of your own life when nobody turned up for your people session. So, like, I wanted to know, like, how did you take that rejection with a pinch of salt? Like, in our life, whenever we come across failures, like, how to take those failures with a pinch of salt and not to give up?
Some of you are asked here, somebody asked here, it's the same thing. I don't know about you all, but for rejection, something hurts. And for me, what had happened is, I had decided that since everybody is saying that nobody can do this from India, why don't I just give it a shot and become the first person to do it? Not the last person. I've always opened the doors for more people now to do it. But how can I become the first? Maybe I can do something different and see where my potential can take me, because Google doesn't know your potential, how much you can accomplish, right? Rejection, I feel if someone comes and says, oh, I've never been rejected, thank God. And I'm like, that's the worst that can happen to you, that you've never been rejected, because rejection will show you your actual potential. It is the only thing that will push you to expand your comfort zone as such. You have to know how to use that rejection. Not to make it that, it is something that I cannot achieve, I cannot do it. I started accepting work to speak at places which were rejected by some of the most famous speakers, because they were not available. Second is because they didn't want to speak at a platform like this. So I started accepting all the work that was rejected by others, and I started using that and going to those places. I used to go to smallest of places to teach. What you see on the screen, that all those applauses and all those big events that I'm speaking at, or big companies, that all came later. But I started accepting everything that was rejected by others. You don't want to speak there? I will do it. They used to come to me. Nobody is speaking. You will speak? I said, yeah, I'll speak. And if one person would turn up, they would say, let's cancel the Payal. Only one has come. I said, no, let's do it. Why? Like, उस time पे ये thought नहीं आता कि the one matters. उस time पे you're only thinking about yourself. This will be my practice ground. कहाँ practice करूँगी? Where will I practice to speak? So वो जो एक बैठी है, उसी से बात कर लेते हैं. As if I'm talking to everybody. That taught me that in a crowd or an audience of lots of people, I can talk to each of you. I don't know how many of you noticed, but I talk to each person. Because that taught me that if one person is sitting here and listening to me, today I have a habit that each person for me is one person. So my eyes never stop at only one person. I can look right into the eye of every person and talk. So rejection is great. Speaking to one person in a room of 100, nobody came up. I said, I will take the class. It's fine. I'll take that session. It was an entrepreneurial session for entrepreneurs. Let me see if that one entrepreneur understands, am I worth it? Somebody asked, right, that how will I know I'm in the right direction? That taught me I'm in the right direction, that I am capable of doing what I'm doing. So rejections are good. Right? So, okay, so I'm just leaving you with a couple of thoughts on leadership, that what leadership actually means. And if you want, you can just take a screenshot of this one. That it's a mindset which is independent of all titles, of all roles and status quo. And how do you achieve your outcome without outside pressure, creating your own pressures, right? This was the definition that the publisher had accepted after a lot of, we had worked on it and edited it. This is something I would leave you to do with. Maybe later on, anytime that I am here next, I would want you to work with me on achieving those leadership qualities and building on your leadership skills, which is very important as we go ahead. Sorry, can you go to the next one? No, keep going. This one I've already spoken. This I will do it later, okay? This is one quote that I have spoken to you about, that it's all about you as an individual. Right? It's all about you as an individual. Many of my quotes are there in colleges on the board and on their walls and everything, but this is one that is very close to my heart, that it's all about you internally. It's all about how you make yourself, and it's you versus you. So if you cannot play the game internally, you will not be able to succeed externally. These are the places you can keep in touch with me. If you're on LinkedIn, if you're on Instagram, my team puts out a lot of leadership resources every time. Anyone who is interested in learning those leadership resources, feel free to connect on those channels. And here you can, books you can get it, books are on the website. It's available worldwide, but on the website it is available specifically for India. And this is a scan code you can take from your phone. You will automatically be into our private WhatsApp subscription, where you will get leadership tips on your phone thrice a week individually without any group. So if you scan code this and just put a hi, you will get a message from my team that you are accepted. Yeah. So thank you so much, Dr. Neelu. It's been a privilege to talk to the future leaders. You are the ones who are shaping India, the next children, the ones who come out. You are the ones who are going to shape the future as teachers, as future HODs, as future, I'm sure some of you will invite me to your preschools, and you all have started your preschools, and I would be the one who would love to come and inaugurate it. It's like that. So I'm hoping the best for all of you, wishing you all the best. Stay connected wherever you are, stay connected with me as friends, and I love you all. God bless you all. Lots of success.
Shall we take a photo down to the NSS lab?
That's how I do it.
1, 2, 3, go!
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ms. Payal Nanjiani, for this immensely fruitful workshop. I'm sure everybody is going from this room keeping some tips in mind. The ease with which this content and all of the suggestions and ideas have come from Ms. Payal, I'm sure they're going to be with you for a long time. Everybody, all of us here in this room, except me, are pre-service teachers, and you are just heading on into that world where you really don't know what kind of people are you going to meet. And this very practical suggestion from ma'am, that start dealing with people in the family, in your house, and only then you get that hang of how to handle people outside. So this session has really been very, very, it's an eye-opener. It's taught us so many things. I'm sure all of us are going to take with us very, very important and positive things from this session. I invite Michelle for a final vote of thanks.
I, Michelle Pinto, on behalf of the Literary Club of Bobby Teachers Training College, would like to take this opportunity to thank Ms. Payal Nanjiani for taking the time to guide us all today. I would also like to thank our Principal, Dr. Bhagwan Bilani, Vice Principal, Dr. Mandeep Kaur Kochar, and Dr. Neelu Verma, Mentor of the Literary Club, for creating such a space for us to learn something so priceless. Ma'am, we are deeply grateful to you for sharing your personal experiences with us and your invaluable insights on leadership. Your time spent with us here has been truly inspiring, and your passion for empowering youth like us who are aspiring leaders for tomorrow is truly commendable. Your wisdom, drawn from your life's experiences, has somewhere deeply resonated with each one of us and will undoubtedly have a lasting impact on our lives. Your encouragement and guidance have instilled the confidence in us to pursue our dreams and strive for excellence. Thank you for sharing and being a shining role model of leadership to us all, and for investing your time in the future of tomorrow's leaders. We are honored to have this opportunity to learn from you and look forward to what we have learned today and to apply it in our daily lives and surroundings. Thank you.